Well, howdy, folks. Welcome back. We missed last Friday, and whenever I miss a day, it just feels like I haven't seen y'all in forever. But we're back now, and I'm very pleased about it. Sung Moon, hello. Good morning to you. Folks, I hope you had a good weekend, a good rest of your week last week. And, hey, let's start this one off right, too. We're doing something a little bit, just tossing it up today, kind of mixing it up, throw it all into the blender, you know? So we can do the author Q&A, as per usual on Mondays. But I was thinking, hey, if you got book questions, maybe you want to look at a cool cover, those are welcome too. So by all means, please do. Kind of a mashup of all of our streams that aren't Fantasy Map Friday. That sound fun? We'll give it a try. We'll see what's up, you know? But Sung Moon, how you been? Thanks for being here. I'm sure it's cold up there right now, right? We're back into the 80s Fahrenheit out here, which is very not fall weather. I'm very not pleased about it. But yeah, I figured we'd just kind of mix it up today. So as usual, we'll do the author Q&A. So if you got questions about writing, publishing, books, all that fun stuff, by all means, please hit me with it. But like I said, if maybe you just want to share your favorite cover, or just talk about your favorite book, we'll do that today. Just have a chill session to start off the week. Chaster, you said, how do you come up with names? Good question, my friend, and welcome in. For names, what I do is I think, is the book that I'm coming up with names for rooted in any specific culture or geographically inspired place? For instance, in my book, The Far Wild, the culture was roughly Greek in that book, so I used a lot of my Greek family names, my family's Greek, as a starting point, and then just kind of expanded out from there, and I looked at the kind of the construction of Greek names, where letters typically go, how vowels would sound, etc., and I just used that to kind of create my own fantasy names, essentially. So just base it on, the culture or geography you're inspired by for the book, and use real ones or create your own. Of course, that works for fantasy. If you're writing something more in the real world, you can just pull from, real world names. So a little bit easier then, Sung Moon, you got 30 centimeters of snow. My goodness. That's a fair bit of snow. I don't think we've had 30 centimeters of snow in the last 10 years combined. Southern life. But yeah, I guess if we're talking about names for characters, it also depends on the character themselves, right? I think the name should sound appropriate for the character. I've been naming a lot of goblins recently for a couple of my books, and those I want. The goblins in that world are very brief, excitable, cute, and so I went with names like that. Short, mostly one syllable, and kind of goofy a little bit. Shadow, I have not read that book. I have not read it at all. Who's it by? I've not heard of it. The Gamer over on Video App. Hello, my friend. Welcome in. We are live there as well. It's a pleasure to have you. Happy Monday. Other name, good morning, my friend. Good to see you too. How you been, dude? Oh, Shadow, is that a light novel or a Royal Road release? I'm a big fan of those. I love folks that can write on Royal Road in websites that are similar web novel sites, and just get there through pure work and effort. Right? It's awesome. The marketing is the writing itself, and the advertising is posting the next chapter. It's beautiful in its simplicity. I kind of wanna give it a try someday. Could be fun. D-Dog is here. What's up, buddy? You said, have you ever read any of Roger Zelazny's work? No, I don't believe so. Let me pull him up. The name's not ringing any bells. I might have read Lord of Light back in the day. I have a faint recollection of that, but most of these aren't ringing any bells for me. What do you like about him? What's your favorite Roger Zelazny book? So yeah, I was thinking today, folks, since we got some more here from the last time I said it. Normally on Mondays we do author Q&A. So you ask me any questions you got about books, writing, publishing, what it's like in the industry, all that fun stuff. But today I just wanted to open it up a bit wider. Like I said, we're going to throw all the formats in the blender. So if you got a book cover you want me to pull up and check out, geek over, we can do that. You got an opening line of one of your favorite books you want me to read and talk about, we can do that too. So just kind of a mashup of all of our floating formats all at once. Misfit Mikey, good to see you, buddy. How you been? Been a minute. Welcome back, man. Hope you've been good. Hopefully we can start off this week right. Kubi, you said, did you finish the fantasy map? It's been a while since I've been here. Yeah, probably I did finish the one that you're... If it's been a minute, let me pull it up here. This is probably the one you're thinking about. Let me grab the correct screen capture here. Nope, that doesn't look like it's right. One moment, y'all. Here it is. This is probably the map you're talking about, right? We did finish this one. Pretty happy with it, too. Syntax Terror? No, Syntax Error. Oh, I thought it was Syntax Terror. That'd be a cool name. Over on Video App, you said, yo, Asmon's live. Well, thank you for the Asmon Gold reference. In a moment here... Oh, you know what? I actually have it on this screen as well, so hold on, y'all. Sound the alarm. The counter rolls up again. 67 Asmon Gold references now. Alright, I'll get that off screen so you can look at the map. Yes, we did finish it, though. I'm pretty happy with this one. Jack Ann, welcome in, my friend. Good to see you. And yeah, feeling better now. Pretty worn out, but feeling better. Thank you for checking. How you doing? D-Dog, you said Lord of Light's your favorite book by Zelazny. And how long did it take me to break into the industry? It took me... I mean, I'm still not sure I'm fully in the industry, honestly. I mean, I am, but like, it's not reliable. I've done the job full time for 5 years now, but it never feels that consistent. But my first book came out in 2018, and I've been publishing ever since. I had been writing with the intent of becoming a full-time author since about 2015, so about 3 years of work in order to get to that point. Jace, do you have any tips about trying to increase the word count? My story right now only has about 4,500 words. Honestly, the story should be the length it needs to be. So if it feels like there's not enough words in it, then there's probably not enough plot. I think you should always feel like you didn't explain things enough, like you ran out of space. I think that indicates that there is a lot of plot and it was a good story. So if you only have 4,500 words of story, that's fine. Then make it only a 4,500 word story. I think that's okay. It's just a short story instead of a novel. And a lot of folks always try to start with writing novels right off the bat, and I think it's fine to start with short stories. Nothing wrong with that. Short stories are great. They're wonderful practice. Kat, you said read The Third Policeman. I've not heard of that. Who's it by? Misfit Mikey, you said you've been working mornings, so you haven't been able to stop by, but congrats on the prequel. Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Sorry you've been working mornings, but hey, we appreciate having you when you can be here. And y'all, if you don't know, the prequel that Misfit Mikey's talking about is this is my most recent book, but this one is a prequel I just dropped to it. It's a bit of a novella, you know. Speaking of, not everything needs to be a novel. This one's shorter, just a novella. So you can get that for 99 cents on the website named after a South American river, or for free if you join my Discord or newsletter. QB, I'm glad that was the map you were thinking of. Glad to pull it up there for you. Burke, I've not read The Count of Monte Cristo, unfortunately. I know it's a little bit of a. There's just a lot of classics out there, right? There's a lot of classics to read, and it's hard to get to them all. You know. That being said, I'd love to read it one day. The reality, unfortunately, of writing so much for my job is that when I get off work at the end of the day, I don't want to read that much because I've been working with words and editing and books all day long. So I kind of just like give me a different media format. I've been watching a lot of TV and movies lately. IPM, you're applying for a magnet program. How can you improve your word count effectively? Word count for what, IPM? Or is it like an entrance essay or something like that? Uh, Syntax, you showed Morrowind to your kid and he laughed at it. Well, I mean, it's old graphics, sure. It's an old. They won't appreciate it because they weren't there when it came out. It's a good game. It's a good story. But I understand. It's hard to look at, like, Super Mario Brothers and be like, oh my god, this is amazing, because it's not a format we're used to. Fat Frog, good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Peter H, you said you think it's a necessity to read books to write your own. I think it helps, Peter. I don't think it's a necessity. I think it helps. Reading widely, reading books in your genre that you want to write in and outside of it are great ideas. I think that helps. I don't think it's a necessity. I would be very interested to see what happens if someone doesn't read that widely and writes their own book. I think, though, by just natural process, most authors are readers first. IPM, it is an essay, and you're trying to beef that word count up. I think it's kind of the same answer from the earlier question, which is if you're having trouble with word count, there's probably not enough meat in the idea. So I would go back to the idea and expand it. Perhaps that means that's more supporting evidence for it, and you need to open up, a couple new paragraphs supporting your main point. Or it could be that your main point's just too narrow and need to make it a little bit bigger. If ever you feel like you can't get the word count, I feel like it means that there's just not enough meat to the central idea. Yeah, Chewy, I do love Edgar Allan Poe's poems. They're just the right level of creepy. A little bit sad for me at times, but I do love the vibes of Poe. Which, hey, speaking of, I'll be going to Baltimore later this year, so might be visiting Poe's grave. That would be a cool place to go. DTB, you're getting one of my books for Christmas? Oh, thank you. Do you know which one, or is it going to be a surprise? I appreciate that, though. Okay, so we got some opening line requests. Jackie-Ann, you said Strength of the Few? Yeah, we can pull that up. Let's grab that here. Is it the one by James Islington? Ace, you said, what kind of books do I write? I write fantasy and science fiction. So, right here. Kind of your typical popcorn fiction, I like to call it. Just books for fun. Nothing too broody or thoughtful or meaningful. Just fun stuff. That's how I like to think of it. But you can find them all linked in my bio. They're available pretty much anywhere books are. This is the newest one, and it's very silly. I have read The Odyssey, Chewy. I've read it several times, actually. I quite like that book. My family's Greek, though, so I'm predisposed to liking that book, right? Alright, let me pull up. So we had a request. I saw a second request as well for opening lines. Empire of Silence. Okay, Chester, let me mark that down so we can get to that. Because I've got Will of the Many first. Oh, and Dill, you're getting Servant of Rage for Christmas. Hey, rock on, dude. I hope you enjoy it. Good timing, as I'll be working on book 2 around that time. Oh, Jackie-Ann, you wanted book 2, so you wanted Strength of the Many, the sequel to Will of the Few. Okay, hopefully there's no spoilers in the opening then. But we'll pull it up here. Jacqueline Woods, good morning to you as well. Hope you're doing well. Oh, okay. It's not Chewy. It's Chuya. Gotcha, gotcha. Okay. Chuya. I'll try to remember that. Thank you for the correction. Mm. And where was it? Gator on YouTube. I can't say that name. Video app said Studio Ghibli mug. Yeah, I picked it today because this is how I feel. Except it's not mouth gaping in excitement. It's just yawning. Jackie Ann, you checked for spoilers before suggesting this. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Well, like I said, we're gonna do a little bit of a mashup today. So what means we're doing kind of all formats, and one of those formats is opening lines. So let's pull it up here. I'll get it centered on screen, and we're going to do the opening lines to Strength of the Few, as suggested by Jack Ann, by James Islington. Fear, my father once told me, is simply our realization of a lack of control. And that is why when we are afraid, sometimes the only way we can cope, the only way to dull the edge of that lack, is to put our faith in those who appear not to suffer it. Wait. Run. The words are barely visible beneath pulsing crimson. Blood slides down my wrist, crawls across my palm, and flicks dark droplets from my fingertips as I lope after Carer? Through the red, flickering, fuzzing tunnel. The circle of bronze blades is long behind us, the labyrinth not far ahead now. My cuts ache. Ulcisor's brother tried to explain why I had to make them. It was a message to myself in another world. Okay, so I think a lot of what's picking up here is stuff that we would get if we had read the first book, but I really liked the opening paragraph. I think that was very interesting. A message that I've seen before, but it's said in a new way, which was kind of fun. The whole fear, my father once told me, is simply our realization of a lack of control, and that is why when we are afraid, sometimes the only way we can cope, the only way to dull the edge of that lack, is to put our faith in those who appear not to suffer it. It's pretty sick. I like that concept. Thank you, Jack Ann, for checking out for spoilers ahead of time. So you read book 1? Did you enjoy it? Because I've not read that series, but I hear good things. Advelios, hello, my friend, and good morning. Hope you've been well. Still writing? You got a lot of projects going on, though, man. You're super creative. Bufoniform? That's a really fun name over on Video app. You said, what's your writing plan for next year? So we got some stuff in the works right now that I can't talk about, but we got some emails are going out in the next week or two that might dictate a few things. So, hey, keep your fingers crossed for me. But the stuff that is set in stone is I am finishing the sequel to Wriggly Little Hands. So I'm writing this right now, or the sequel to this. And then after that, we are doing the sequels to Servant of Rage. So I can say for certain that Book 2 of Wriggly Little Hands will be coming out next year, as well as Book 2 of Servant of Rage and Book 3 of Servant of Rage. So those are my 1, 2, 3, first 3 books queued up for next year. After that, well, I can't announce anything just yet, but we'll see what comes about. I'm pretty hopeful. Hey, Titan Terra, good to see you. Welcome in. Pleasure to have you. I will be in your neck of the woods coming up later this week, down there for a wedding in New Orleans. So I'll wave as I pass by. Hope you've been doing good, and welcome back. Oh, Vontira, you like the art for Wriggly Little Hands? Let's pull it up again for you here. The artist is Ivan Shavrin. And they're credited right in the first page of the book if you open the physical copy or look at the digital sample. But huge shout to Ivan, man. He's an awesome artist. I have commissioned him for several works now, and I want to commission him for basically all of my future books. I love his art. Dude rocks. Chester, I did not take Latin classes. I took German and Spanish. I have not read much Sanderson, B2. I'd like to read more, but it's just there's so many books out there to keep up with. Raffy, you're still asleep? Man, that's impressive, man. You're tuning in from your bed with your eyes closed, just telepathically linking into the stream. I like it. And we're happy to have you, man. I hope you get some rest. I don't want you too tired. Um, Vonti, I'm glad you like the art, and yeah, I'll never use AI art. No, but y'all, when I can get an advance from the publisher, when I can squeeze them for a little more money, that's just more money I get to throw at artists. And like, if all I do in life is write books that me and some other people find fun, and commission artists to create more awesome art, I'm pretty okay with that. That's a pretty good gig in my opinion. So yeah, I love just being able to get in advance and just going, great. My budget's a lot bigger for art and everything now. Lestro, you said how long have I been a writer? I mean, I've been writing in some capacity since like middle school, but professionally, I started ghostwriting in 2015, more like 2016. But I was a freelance business writer before that for a year and a half or so. I ghost wrote for about 2 years, and then I transitioned in 2018-ish to writing under I say my own name, a pen name, but my author name, in about 2018. So I've been working that job full time for 7 years now. Yeah, it's a great job. I love it. Uh, three for me on video app said, "What are you hungry for in life?" Um, More book success. I'm very, very happy with the level of success I've achieved here, but I'd like to get a bit more. I'd like to. Being an author is a very unstable job. You never know how much money you're going to make from sales, when your next advance is going to come in. Am I going to sell another series and get another big check, or am I going to live on royalties for another 2 years? Like, you never know. So I'd like to get that to a more stable point where I don't have to worry about it, and just focus on the writing. That's what I'm hungry for, I suppose. In Buffoniform, you said, would you ever attempt epic fantasy? They seem so daunting. They are daunting, aren't they? They're big and expansive and tons of characters. I will say, I don't know if I'd call it epic fantasy, but it's darn close. This book here and its following sequels are pretty close to epic fantasy. They're a little bit smaller in scope than like a Sanderson book or something. Not going to have 12 POV characters, just 3, maybe 4 as the series goes on. So that's close. That's close. But I get what you're saying. Epic fantasy is it is daunting to approach. Oh, thank you, Lestro. I'm glad that you enjoyed the story of how I got here. It's been in hindsight, it looks very planned, but it wasn't. I was just making it up as I went along. Ricky Doo Grimes, how can I forget you, man? That's such a fun username. Hey, I inspired you to write, and you've reached chapter 8, bro. Let's go. Good on you, man. I'm glad to hear that. What are you writing? What genre? Like, what do you like about your story? Tell me a little bit about it. I want to be excited about it with you. Chuya, you wonder if I would like to make something like a comic. I think that would be fun. The sad business fact of it is that you have to have a certain level of success with your book in order for there to be interest for it to be made into a comic. So I have to have a book that pops off even bigger than my bestseller in order to do that. But I'd love to try it. I think a comic would be a really challenging and interesting thing to make. B2, you said the level of world building and characters to follow in Sanderson books are insane. Yes, yes, they are. Yeah, I that would be a lot to work on. It's a lot to read. It's even more to write. I don't know how he does it. Misfit Mikey, epic fantasy is epic though. It's true. It's true. Zergon, what's up, my guy? Welcome back in. You said any tips for writing good dialogue? Yeah. So if you worry about your dialogue, try to read it aloud, or when you're writing it, speak it aloud and then write it down. The trick to dialogue is that it is not proper. It's not. It can't be fit into an easy to explain box. Dialogue is something that we speak to communicate to one another, and so dialogue should try to capture that spoken version of speaking. It's less precise, it's less correct, it might be a little rambling. So I say speak it and then write it down. Or if you want to check it, look at the dialogue you have, read it aloud, and make sure it sounds natural and it flows. It's got colloquialisms. It's not just like we tend to speak with a lot of contractions. We use colloquialisms, which is like local slang. You might not speak in full sentences. All those things make dialogue better and more realistic. Bufoniform. Is that like a plant? That feels like it's like the scientific name for a type of plant or something. I'm gonna look it up. Bufoniform. It's an adjective? I don't know. Etymology on Wiktionary says it's from the Latin for toad. Let me know. Let me know where it came from, because it sounds fun. Anyway, you said you'll have to give Servant of Rage a read. Well, thank you. Please let me know if you enjoy it. I'd love to hear the feedback. And y'all, like I said, I'll be working on book 2 of that series coming up around December, turn of the new year. So if you got feedback, good time to hit me with it. Might be able to influence the direction of book 2. You never know. Crazy Life, what's up? Welcome in. Pleasure to have you here. Let me catch up on TikTok chat here. D-Dog, you said, how hard was it to break into the industry? Pretty tough. And like I said, I don't think that I'm really even fully in now. I mean, I am a full-time author, but it still doesn't feel secure. Like at any point in time, sales could dry up, or I could not land, another publishing deal, and then it's kind of scramble time. So I would like to be a lot more secure in it, but for now we're still doing it. So I guess how hard was it to break into the industry? I kind of took a route that in hindsight seems like it was really planned out, but it wasn't, which is I started ghostwriting before I started writing, books under my own name. And the ghostwriting is much more reliable, steady work. So that allowed me to have steady work as I pivoted into writing my own books. But I'd say probably it took about 1.5 to 2 years of ghostwriting before I was writing my own stuff. And I've been going since then. Ricky, you said, hold on, you're writing a fantasy tale in a world called Baluramon. A lone mercenary goes out to find power, but ends up finding a lost ancient evil that latches to him, and he has to go across the world to defeat it. Okay. Sounds fun, man. Hey, if you're rocking with it, I love it. I'm glad you're on chapter 8. That's pretty far in. Keep it going, dude. And as always, if you got questions as you work on it, you know where to find me. But no, I'm excited, man. I'm excited you're writing. I love that. Chaster, have I ever gotten too caught up in the world building? Okay, so yeah, that's an easy thing to do if you really like your world building. You can get caught up in it. You can spend too long in it. I think it's easier to get caught up in it when you're writing purely for your own entertainment, which is where all writing should start from. Like, you have to be entertained by the story before any reader does. So it should always start there. But I'm very cognizant of the fact that I have to sell books to keep living, keep eating. So that acts as a pretty good check on not world building for too long, because I've always got in the back of my head, hey man, you got to write this book, you got to get it published, you got to get the sales out there. So that kind of helps, but I would love to get caught up in the world building more. It's always fun. Bufoniform. Okay, you said that the history of your username is you saw it somewhere and it means toad-like. You thought it was funny. You wish it was a cooler story. Hey, it's fine. That's a good enough story. Like I said, it's fun to say, so I appreciate it. Lestro, did I study literature at university? You'd like to be a writer as well, but you're debating how to get there. Okay, I love this question, Lestro. I did study writing at the college level. I do not think it's necessary. I was even selected to study under a Pulitzer Prize-winning author in college, and that was fun and interesting. I do not think any of it was necessary. I think the best thing you can do if you want to become an author is to read a lot of books in the genre you want to write in, and read books outside the genre you want to write in. So just look at basically whatever's selling and got a lot of buzz around it, read that book right now. It doesn't really matter the genre. Just keep reading them, and then write just endlessly. Write short stories and submit them to contests. Work on longer projects. Write novels. I think the best thing about writing is you can just get better at it by doing it. It really is a practice makes perfect industry, and the good news is, your practice is pretty fun. Your practice is reading good books and trying to write your own. I don't think it was worth it to study it at the college level. Maybe that's a hot take, but I didn't get much value out of it. My time would have been better spent simply reading a lot and writing a lot. Mr. Magnificent, you alrighty? You said mi nombre es Señor Magnifico. This sentence translates to my name is Mr. Magnificent in English. Yeah, I don't know a lot of Spanish, but yeah, I think it does. Those are quite a few thesaurus level synonyms there, Mr. Magnificent, over on Video App. D-Dog, you said, where would you suggest I start with your books? I love all things sci-fi and fantasy. Well, thank you. I, as someone who has to sell books for a living, I appreciate the question. If we pop over here to the books, I think you can start really anywhere that you want. I think the main thing is what do you like to read? Like, if you like comedy, start with Wriggly Little Hands. If you like more intense, like I said, epic, a little bit darker fantasy, Servant of Rage, very action-packed. If you like thrillers, The Far Wild's kind of like fantasy Jurassic Park. And if you like lit RPG or sci-fi, these books down here are a whole different category, but a lot of fun in that regard. Realistically, though, you can start wherever you want. Entirely up to you. But if I had to pick one, I'd say start with Wriggly Little Hands. Clara, good morning. Good to see you. How you doing up there in the cold north? Not too cold, I hope. Sung Moon said they're under 30 centimeters of snow this morning, so I imagine it's not that bad for you there. And Leisha, good morning to you as well. Welcome in. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. HR, when did I start reading books? Oh, I can't remember. It was so early. Basically, as long as I've been able to read. I mean, maybe 4 or 5. I don't know when kids typically start reading, but I've always read books, and my mom read books to me when I was really young. So I think she set me on this course very early on. Oh, Chaster, thank you for reminding me. I did want to check out the opening line of Empire of Silence. So let me pull that up. Y'all, if you're just joining me, the format today, we're doing the Q&A about books, publishing, writing. Any questions you got about that, please hit me with them. Happy to answer. But we're also kind of mixing it up a little bit. So if you want me to look at the opening lines of a book that you like and kind of do my breakdown on them, like we do sometimes, or maybe you want me to look at a book cover, talk about it, we're doing all that fun stuff today too. So it's kind of a mishmash stream today. Call it a variety hour, huh? Now, I know we've done Empire of Silence before. I recognize the cover, but it's a good one. So we'll do the opening lines. Lestro, you're very welcome for the advice. I hope it helps. Ben, are these comics? No, these are all my stuff are books, novels. And they're all linked in my bio. Alrighty, let's do real quick the opening lines of Empire of Silence. And who was that by? I didn't catch the author name. Christopher Ruocchio? Ruocchio? I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, and I apologize. Here we go. Okay, so it's a small font one, y'all. Sorry, it's going to be a little hard to read here, especially with my big old head in the way. Slindy, you're going to be lurking a bit? No worries, man. We appreciate you being here. All right. Opening lines of Empire of Silence. The Sun Eater, Book 1. Light. The light of that murdered sun still burns me. I see it through my eyelids, blazing out of history from that blocky day, hinting at fires... Oh, bloody day. Blocky. Small font, like I said. Blazing out of history from that bloody day, hinting at fires indescribable. It is like something holy, as if it were the light of God's own heaven that burned the world and billions of lives with it. I carry that light always, seared into the back of my mind. I make no excuses, no denials, no apologies for what I've done. I know what I am. The scholiasts, I always trip up on that word when we read this, scholiasts. The scholiasts might start at the beginning, with our remote ancestors clawing their way out of old Earth's system and their leaking vessels, those peregrines making their voyages to new and living worlds. But no, to do so would take volumes, more volumes and ink than my hosts have left at my disposal, and even I, who has more time than any other, would not have time for that. Should I chronicle the war, then, start with the alien Sealson howling out of space in ships like castles of ice? You can find the war stories, read the death counts, the statistics. No context can make you understand the cost. Cities razed, planets burned, countless billions of our people ripped from their worlds to serve as meat and slaves for those pale monsters. Families old as empires ended in their light and fire. The tales are numberless, and they are not enough. The Empire has its official version, one that ends in my execution, with Hadrian Marlowe hanged for all the worlds to see. I do not doubt that this tome will do aught but collect dust in the archive where I have left it, one manuscript amongst billions at Colchis, forgotten. Perhaps that is best. The worlds have had enough of tyrants, enough of murderers and genocides. But perhaps you will read on, tempted by the thought of reading the work of so great a monster as the one made in my image. Whew! Dense, but fun, dramatic, dark. I think it fits the cover, though. And we can pull up the cover for a moment. Dramatic beginning. Here, I'll lean out of the way for you. I really like the idea. So I talk about when we do book openings, how you hook a reader, and part of that is making them ask a question. And what this one does really well is it basically introduces that the main character somehow obliterated a sun and all of the planets in the system around it, and those deaths are on him. Her, I don't know. I guess there was a name, Hadrian Marlowe, so him. And it teases you with that concept and makes you want to go, how the heck did that happen? And it drags you in wanting to know more. That's how a hook works. So well done to Empire of Silence. I am intrigued. We've read it several times on stream, and I'm still intrigued to actually go through and read it. So thank you for asking for that one, Chaster. Slindy, you're doing a daily 3 random word prompt to start writing more. And you did today's. Rock on. What were today's 3 words? Just for fun. Bufoniform, you said that the cover of Empire of Silence is giving Destiny. Yeah, it does give Destiny vibes, right? Which is a very fun world. So reading a book set in a world similar to that sounds pretty good to me. Millie, welcome in. Good to see you. Sleepy Boy, what's up, y'all? Thanks for joining. Slindy, you said it feels like Mass Effect. Hey, when your book is described as Destiny and Mass Effect, you're probably in a pretty good place, huh? Chaster, I do know about House of Leaves. We've covered it on stream a little bit here. I know it's a very interesting book. It doesn't work well for reading the opening lines on stream because it's a book you have to kind of sit down and like get into a little bit more. But I hear it does some very cool things. I'd love to sit down and read it one day. Beyond the book, what's my favorite novel? So that's a tough one, but I tend to have like a rotation of like 5 that I answer based on the day. But if you look at my bookshelf, my finger gets cut off before we go high enough. But that top row all the way back there behind me, that's all my favorite books. And so among those, you have Michael Crichton's Jurassic Park and Lost World. Every book ever written by Joe Abercrombie. You have Terry Pratchett's Thud. Douglas Adams' Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Gill's All Fright Diner by A. Lee Martinez. So those are my rotation of favorite books. So any of those 5, and if we're picking just the one today feels like a Jurassic Park day. I really love that book. That's such a good book. What about you, beyond the book? What is your favorite novel? Tide and Terra, how did I find my cover artist? So with Ivan Shavrin, I actually reached out to a fellow author friend because I really liked their cover, and I was like, yo, who did your cover? How can I contact them? And Ivan is luckily a really easy guy to work with. Super cool dude, incredible art, and he makes book covers like these for me. I respect it, and I love his style. It's just so fun, right? He did this one. And he also did this one for me. And I hope to hire him for many more in the future. Especially all the ones in the Wrigley, the world of Wrigley, as I call it. This one is my free novelette, which you can get by joining my Discord or my newsletter, which are linked in my bio, or for 99 cents on the website named after a South American river. I don't think I can say the name anymore. I get flagged for that. And this one is the full novel in that world. This is the prequel to it. Best Joe Abercrombie books. My favorite is Best Served Cold by Joe Abercrombie. I've really been enjoying The Devils, his newest release. It's a little bit of a tough thing because his first trilogy, The Blade Itself, Before They Are Hanged, and Last Argument of Kings, the 3 titles, it's a good trilogy, but he was very new to writing then, and you can see the core concept of what makes him such a good author, but he refines it in later books. But also, his first trilogy ties into his second trilogy, ties into the rest of his books. I should say the first trilogy ties into his standalones, ties into the rest his second trilogy. So you really do need to start with the first trilogy. The Blade Itself is book 1. Just know that if you like what you see in The Blade Itself, it only gets better and better as his writing improves. Zach, you're currently reading through George Orwell's work. COVID messed up your high school reading list. Oof, George Orwell. Good writing. Not happy topics, but good writing. Very valuable to read through that. What's been your favorite book of Orwell's? Oh, I'm sorry. I've been missing over on Video App. Bufoniform, you said, I could be so wrong. I feel like authors can sometimes be overlooked with how many there are. You always think like or how clever they are. They can be overlooked with how clever they are. You always think of doctors, lawyers, etc., but authors are incredibly smart. Well, thank you. I'll take it. I'll take the compliment. Yeah, I think smart ties into it. It's also it's a lot about being creative as well. Getting a message across, be it a joke, be it a tense, dramatic moment, getting that across in a way that makes sense and is enjoyable to read is an art form. And I respect authors that do it even better than me. I get what you're saying, though, Bufoniform, and thank you. I appreciate it. Very kind of you. Beyond the book, your favorite book is Lord of the Flies. Hoo-hoo! Going way classic there. All right, rock on. Tide and Tara, do you feel a website is important when querying a debut novel? No, I don't think so. It might not be a bad thing to have, but I don't think it really matters. I don't think... I have never, I'm not a literary agent, so I can't tell you exactly how they think, but I don't think that they have the time to dig as deep as an author's website unless they're really interested in what you've pitched. And from what I have heard with them from, being in conversation and or just things they publish all the time online, on social media, on their websites, whatever, it really does come down to the strength of writing and the strength of the idea that you're pitching to them. I think that's more important than a website. It might not be a bad thing to set up, but I wouldn't, if you're strapped for time, I wouldn't go out of my way to do it. Websites are more for readers to find out more about you. Literary agents are mainly focused on how strong is your idea. Do they like your writing style, and what other past publishing experience do you have? Jack Ann, if you could have everyone read one book, what would it be? Oh boy, everybody read one book? Oh boy. I mean, obviously, the first answer is I have to say one of my own, because if everybody read one of my books, I would be set for life, and that would be amazing, and then I could just write with no external pressure forever. That being said, that's not the most fun answer. I think if I had to pick one published book for everybody to read, this is tough, right? Because I want everybody to enjoy it. And then I feel like a large, if I mandated to the whole world, you all have to read this book, I feel like 80% of the world's gonna be like, that book sucked. I didn't want to read that. Why'd you make me read that? That being said, one book that's too good. Okay, here we go. Let me pull up one here. I'm gonna get an interesting answer. Let me pull it up. I don't even know if I think it's out of print, but I think we can still find a cover of it. Not there. Okay, I can go somewhere else. I have a print copy of it. I guess I could grab that. Yeah, I guess I'm just gonna grab the print cover. Hold on one sec. Grab the print copy. Okay, nice to have a Nice to have the bookshelf right there, although I am blurry. Oh, we fixed it. Awesome. So this book, Appalachian Alchemy, by Barlow Adams. It's short. You can see it's pretty small. It was self-published. My dude is a talent like I have never seen. Boy, oh boy, can he write. I love this book. It broke my heart, but it's also just an incredible book. It's out of print right now, and I keep yelling at him. I'm like, you need to put this back into print. It's a really good book. It was on Amazon for a time. Oh, I'm not supposed to say that word. Yeah, it was for sale there. Anyway, if you can find a copy of it and you like to have your heart broken and also read good books set in rural Kentucky, this book is amazing. I can't rave about it enough. I absolutely love it, and I wish that it was in print more and more readily available. And I'll continue yelling at the author until he puts it back in print because it's so good. Bufoniform, I have not watched the new Frankenstein on Netflix. I am interested. I feel like I'm not going to care for it too much. It feels like just the impression that I've gotten from the trailers is that it's going to be slow and a bit meandering. But I do love a dark vibe, so I might like it. So I'm going to give it a try. Just got to find a little bit of time. Oh, some good questions in here, y'all. Thank you for asking them. I do not read manga too much, Seti. I read graphic novels once in a while. A few select ones of those I've really enjoyed. I don't have time to read enough books as I'd like. So reading manga is a whole other category I haven't gotten into yet. But I love storytelling in all its formats, so I got nothing against it by any means. Lestro, would I ever want to write a play? It'd be interesting. If I was writing something for the stage, I'd want to do a musical. I love musicals. I'd love to take a hand at writing one of those one day. Jackie, you would never make anyone read your book. Or make everyone read your book. Yeah, I know, right? They'd all hate you. But if everybody had to read it, then maybe they all got to buy it. And a couple billion sales would be pretty good, right? I'd take that. Jenna, you said, which book challenged my beliefs the most? This is an interesting question. Which book challenged my beliefs the most? I'm going to think on this for a second. I'm going to go with Joe Abercrombie's books. I know I said he's one of my favorite authors, but he just has a way of writing morally gray characters that are just so likable. And you're like, you end up liking these characters, and then you're like, oh no, these are terrible people. Why am I cheering for this terrible person to succeed? Their goals are not good goals. And I think that's really interesting. He makes you like characters that are not good people. He's just that good at writing characters. So I'm going to go with Best Served Cold as the answer to that question by Joe Abercrombie. Jack Ann, you love the shout out for an indie author. Everyone does need a bit of heartbreak. Yeah, in response to me saying if everybody had to read one book, I'd say Appalachian Alchemy by Barlow Adams. Again, it's out of print, so I'm sorry. I'll keep yelling at him to put it back into print. It's an incredible book. Titan Terra, you said, is it where the red fern grows level of heartbreak? I'd put it up there. It's not as sad as like an animal dying, which is pretty brutal. I don't think it's as... So where the red fern grows, I think is particularly heartbreaking. Sorry, some minor spoilers here. It's particularly heartbreaking because it's so happy and kind of like... you're just like experiencing a story, and then it gets brutal at the end. Appalachian Alchemy is kind of, going in that it's not going to be a happy story. It's kind of like Romeo and Juliet, where it starts and it's like, hey, this doesn't end well. So you're prepared, right? Brandon, welcome in, my friend. You said you just joined. What's my favorite book? My favorite books tend to rotate. I have like 5, and I kind of just, every time I get asked, I kind of pick another one. But I was asked this earlier, and today's favorite book is Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton. I really enjoy that one. I think a lot of people like the movie and don't realize there's a book. It's a very good book. Ramen, you said, hi. I'm writing about a fantasy story in a cold wasteland. Any tips? Come up with a lot of descriptions of how to be cold. I think something that would really sell that is writing the temperature, the setting, as if you have experience being there. Doing it in new and novel ways. Like, if we go to this book here that I wrote, The Far Wild, it's set in a tropical jungle. And one of the things that I felt, being someone from Florida, that I could bring to it was just endless descriptions of how you can sweat more than you thought was possible. Because I've experienced that after many, many summers in Florida. And I think that adds an element of realism of like folks that haven't been in jungles or subtropical environments when it's just brutally hot. There's areas you can sweat that you've never thought about. So I feel like trying to do the equivalent of that in the cold, I think that would add a lot of realism to the story. Outside of that, have fun. Write things that entertain you, because as the author, you have to be the first person that is entertained by the story. Woofy, you said, what's a bad way to write morally gray characters? I think the only bad way to write characters is to make them boring. Make us love them, make us hate them. Just make sure we're entertained. Don't bore us with them. We want readers to have an emotional reaction to the character, and I think that's really just the golden rule when it comes to characters. Tide and Tara, you said you're okay with being in the know about the trauma you're about to go through when you start a book. As long as they give us a heads up, right? Panda Bear over on Video App, welcome in, my friend. You said you just found the stream. Well, hey, thanks for joining. We're live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 a.m. Central Time. Always doing something a little bit different, but always bookish focused. One of the more popular formats that we do is on Fridays. We do Fantasy Map Friday, where we make fantasy maps like these live on stream. So please tune in on Fridays for those. We'd love to have you. But welcome in. Glad to have you. Where was it? Lestro, you said, do you have an agent or do you not have a need for him? So I had an agent early on in my career. Actually, they were the number 2 agent in North America at the time. And then they were involved in a scandal that drove them out of the industry and resulted in mine and all of their other clients' books being dropped overnight. And that was a real big mess. It was a scandal related to the personal life of the agent, and it really set back my publishing timelines. It was an absolute mess. So since then, I have not had an agent, and I've just made it work, working with publishers on my own. Most of my stuff is through small presses, a little bit's through Audible, Podium, bigger publishers like that, and then I self-publish a couple books as well. So I'm a true hybrid author, and at this point, I'm making enough money on my own that I don't need an agent. That being said, if they had a good pitch and could, come up with a plan for how we could sell more books, and I'd love to hear them out. Jack Ann, you said you had an icy winter scene and struggled with the echo of ice throughout the chapter. Like you were just saying ice too much in it. You needed other ways to describe it. Is that kind of what you're saying? At some level, it does come down to write what you know, right? And if you don't know it well enough, then don't lean into it too much. It's the stuff that you know really well, lean into. But like, as someone who's lived south of the Mason-Dixon for most of my life, I'm not the best with cold descriptions. I did live in Boston for a little while, but you'll notice I don't go too hard on the cold descriptions. I might set things in a cold area, but I don't go, too in-depth on it because I don't feel that I have the best experience for it. I take my best shot, but like, nothing's gonna replace 17 winters in Boston, right? I only had 2. Oh, we got another Asmongold reference, so y'all know what that means. Y'all know what that means. The Asmongold counter goes up again. It's a good day for it, y'all. Let's tick it on up to 68. There it is. Oh man, it's going to be a good day when we hit 100 on that. We'll have to celebrate somehow. We're working our way toward it, too. Bufoniform, do you have an opinion on books that use accents like ye instead of you? You find them hard to read? Yeah, they are hard to read. That's kind of my thought on them. I think that accents in books are good when they're sprinkled in lightly. If they go too heavy, they become a distraction. So an accent should be, I would say, do 10% of the accent in the dialogue. It should be enough to convey that that's how the character talks, so the reader would hear their voice distinctly in their head, but not so much that it trips you up when you're reading it. Unless we're talking audiobooks, in which case, yeah, if your narrator can do the accent, rock on. other name. Celebrate 100 references by streaming with a super dirty room for the Asmongold counter. I'm not trying to anger any of the bigger streamers, man. I don't need that heat. You said, where was it? Gadai, you said, I think it's your teeth and beard. No, I see it. I see the Asmongold comparison. I definitely do. Tide and Terror, when we hit 100 references, can we get you into costume? I actually, y'all, okay, I'll make you sad. I was planning on the Halloween of Fantasy Map Friday. Halloween fell on a Friday, so I was going to do Fantasy Map Friday. I actually had a Bob Ross costume, and I was going to skin the stream to look like the Joy of Painting. I forget why it ended up falling through. Something I couldn't stream on that day for some reason. But just know there is a Bob Ross costume in the house now, and one of these days we're going to pop on and have the joy of map making, and that's going to be a good day. I'm very excited for it. Also, now that all my hair fell out, I can wear the wig a lot easier. YO Key on Video App, you said Rocket Wagon, all caps. Are you talking about Wriggly Little Hands? Because we do love the Rocket Wagon. One of my finest inventions, if I may say so myself. We're planning a big scene in Book 2 with mini rocket wagons. We got to up the ridiculousness in the story a little bit. Period. You don't have a username, just the period. Do I read manga? I haven't yet, but I'm totally open to the idea. Jack Ann, you said you don't know who Asmongold is? He's a big streamer on, I don't know, YouTube or Twitch. I don't know. Oh, God, I'm not supposed to say those. Alex, stop it. TikTok's going to get mad at you. I'm not supposed to say the other competitors' names. Video App or Purple App. He streams on one of them. I don't know. I don't really watch him. But he's a big streamer with some divisive opinions and infamously not the cleanest house. Chaster, you want to do the opening line of Lies of Lamora by Scott Lynch? We can do that. Let me pull it up here in the background. The Lies of Loch Lamora. Such a good title. I've always liked it. Okay. Boom. There's the screen. Let's move text or chat off. All right, The Lies of Loch Lamora by Scott Lynch. We'll do the opening lines and kind of see what we think about it. My instinct... it's another small font one. I know that you can increase font size, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work when I have the window set up for streaming. I don't know why, so don't mind me as I just squint into it to try to read it. But my instinct, my reaction whenever I look at this is always, God, I love the title of the prologue. The Boy Who Stole Too Much. Such a good intro. All right. At the height of the long, wet summer of the 77th year of Sindavani, the thief-maker of Camor paid a sudden and unannounced visit to the eyeless priests at the temple of Perilandro, desperately hoping to sell him the Lamora boy. "Have I got a deal for you?" the thief-maker began, perhaps inauspiciously. "Another deal like Callow and Galdo, maybe," said the eyeless priest. "I've still got my hands full training those giggling idiots out of every bad habit they picked up from you, and replacing them with the bad habits I need." Such a good line. Training out the bad habits they picked up from you, and training them with the bad habits they need. "Now, chains," the thief-maker shrugged. "I told you they were shit-flinging little monkeys when we made the deal, and it was good enough for you at the... Or maybe another deal like Sabetha." The priest's richer, deeper voice chased the thief-maker's objection right back down his throat. "I'm sure you recall charging me everything but my dead mother's kneecaps for her. I should have paid you in copper and watched you spring a rupture trying to haul it all away." "Ah, but she was special, and this boy, he's special too," said the thief-maker. "Everything you asked me to look for after I sold you Callow and Galdo, everything you liked so much about Sabetha, he's Camori, but a mongrel, Theron and Vandrin blood, with neither dominant. He's got larceny in his heart, sure as a sea's full of fish piss. And I can even let you have him at a discount." Such a good opening. I love the back and forth between the two of them. It immediately establishes a history. It establishes world building by talking about... it slips in details of the world there, which is a good way to tease us with world building. And it instantly sells us on the character. I mean, the character of these two is very funny. And also, it makes you ask questions like, why does an eyeless priest want thieves? Why is a priest training thieves? And where is the thief maker finding these thieves that he is selling to the priest? It raised a lot of questions, and it's a good opening. And now we'll appreciate the cover for a minute before we move on. But I'll lean out of the way. There's The Lies of Loch Lamora by Scott Lynch. A classic for a reason. I think for some reason, I always think this book is more widely read than it is, but it should be more widely read. It's a good book. It's a lot of fun. Jack Ann, you said you feel immediately immersed. Good. That means the author's doing their job. Cool title page, good font, for sure, for sure. It's just good all around. Jason, what's been my favorite book to write? I think Wriggly Little Hands. But sometimes I say Servant of Rage. You know, it varies day to day. Wriggly Little Hands is super fun and goofy, and I was really able to just like play with the words and the story. Servant of Rage is more dramatic and epic. And sometimes that's also needed. Sometimes you just want to write really dramatic stuff that's meaningful and deep. Sometimes you want to write silly goblin jokes. So between the two of those, depending on the day, I'll say one or the other was my favorite to write. And as a reminder, y'all, you can get those books linked in my bio. They're available wherever books are sold, as audiobook, ebook, and paperback. So please check them out. Selling books is how I put food on the table. And I should say coffee in the mug. Jack Ann, what font do I write in? Hold on, I have to check. I just write in Google Docs, and I think their default font, but let me check. Yeah, I write in Google Docs, normal text. Now, I do size it up. I do write in like 14-point font, and if I'm on the laptop, even bigger. So it's pretty funny looking. But yeah, just normal text. Nothing too crazy. Do you have a specific font that you enjoy? When I do get fancy, I do like Georgia as a font. I think it's quite beautiful. Blueberry said, materializing both the priest and the thief maker in my mind from the first few lines. Absolutely peak. Yeah, no, they really build Scott Lynch really builds those characters up in The Lies of Loch Lamora right in time. Right off the bat. It's great. It's great characterization, and it tells me as a reader that I'm going to enjoy the rest, because if Scott Lynch can characterize those characters so quickly, I know reading longer in the book is going to pay off more as you get to know more characters. It allows for like better lore and deeper jokes that can be funnier when you give more time on the page to the character. Jack Ann, you said don't forget the puzzle piece. Yes, I just did it. Thank you very much for that. That's why we got cut off on Wednesday. or Tide and Terra, I think. Did I say Jack Ann? I meant Tide and Terra. Jack Ann, now I've heard that writing in... I should say, you said you have a friend that writes in Comic Sans. You write in Garamond. I have heard writing in Comic Sans is good for seeing typos. I've never been unhinged enough to try it, but... Maybe at the end of a long night out with a lot of drinks in me, we would try it. That just sounds cursed. Absolutely cursed to write in Comic Sans. And there it is. The live visibility has been restricted once again. I really don't know what is doing that. TikTok's hit me with that every time I stream these days. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and appeal it. And it's not going to be successful, and we'll be restricted again. This is 5 streams in a row now, TikTok. Can you please tell me what I'm doing wrong? I don't know what I'm doing to anger you, but TikTok doesn't like me being here these days, man. I don't know. Anyway, Buffoniform, you said, do you have any gripes with book-to-movie adaptations, like when they miss things, character changes, etc.? Honestly, I'm really easygoing on book-to-movie adaptations because I realize that they're different formats, and it's just so hard to get everything from the book into the movie. So you really have to pick and choose what makes it in. That's tough. I don't envy that job at all. I think my only gripes with it are when they fundamentally change the message or the feel of the story. As long as you follow the spirit of the story, I think it's fine. I understand not everything can make it in. Just don't fundamentally alter the story, you know? Oh, interesting, Titan Terra. You said you think it's LIB references. Oh, link in bio. So maybe they don't like that. Probably should have promo content disclosure turned on. Okay, let me check that out. Promo content disclosure. I don't know where to turn that on. Can you, Titan Terra, would you mind DMing me how to turn that on, or just like where? I guess I can look it up too. But I'll turn that on. Thank you. That would be nice if that helps. That would be very relaxing to not have to worry about getting restricted every single live for an unknown and unknowable reason that TikTok will not tell me about. Thank you. I appreciate you, Titan Terra. You are incredible. Blueberry, you said a lot of people dislike Comic Sans, but it looks really good in my native language, Cyrillic script. Now that's interesting. I'm going to have to look that up, Blueberry, after stream. Cyrillic Comic Sans. That's fascinating. I really want to see that now. Thank you for mentioning that. That's so cool. YOK, you said the book with Gaston looks interesting. I think, were you referring to The Far Wild right here? That one? That is a Gaston-like character for sure. Let me put it up bigger for you. There it is. Yeah, that's Gaston-like is definitely a good way to describe his character. He's very full of himself. Hopefully in a way that becomes endearing, but is also a little bit annoying. It was definitely intentional. But yeah, The Far Wild is my fantasy thriller. Kind of inspired by like Jurassic Park, but in a fantasy world. So if you like adventure, skyships, running from giant hungry beasts, it's got all of that. Feel free to check it out. I guess at this point my visibility's already been restricted, so link in bio if you want to see it. Anyway, folks, hey, thank you for being here today. Hope you had a fun time. We started your Monday off right. I certainly enjoyed it. Thank you for joining me today. It was a nice little mishmash format. We did Q&A, we did opening lines, just kind of a fun one, throwing all the formats together. A little bit of, what's it called? What's the word I'm looking for? Like, admin, I guess, on the back end. Y'all, I will be out next Wednesday, Friday, and Monday, so that'll be the longest time that we will go without streaming since we started back in March. Sorry, 1 second. There we go. Got someone being rude on video app. Yeah, so no stream. This will be nuts, y'all. No stream Wednesday, Friday, or next Monday. I apologize, but I'll be traveling for a wedding and then having a few family events after that. So this is the first time, I believe, since April, when I started streaming, that we're going to have a whole week off. So, yeah, it's going to be weird. All I know is that I'll probably come back from it next Wednesday, energized and ready to go. So I apologize, y'all. You won't see me for a week. Sungmoo, don't know if you'll be able to cope with it. Yeah, so sorry, guys. It'll be we'll miss 3 streams, but then we'll be back. We'll be rocking and rolling. So yeah. The good news is, part of this week that I'll be off is we're doing Thanksgiving early. So come Thanksgiving time, I won't really have any family over or anything, so it'll be nice and business as usual for then. So I guess we're taking that holiday a little bit early here and throwing a wedding into the mix. It'll be good. It'll be good. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate the well wishes. I will miss you as well. Yeah, I think we're gonna have. We missed last Friday's Fantasy Map Friday. I think we're overdue for a map stream then. Which also, hey, I guess we'll do a little more admin real quick. Y'all, I have terrible news. This finally got me on Incarnate. Here's the map we were working on. If you remember, our last map stream got cut off with an issue, an Incarnate issue. Yeah, this is the map. I don't know what happened, but all of our progress got obliterated on the map we were working on. Whatever that issue was, the first time I've encountered it after hundreds of hours in Incarnate, this is all that's left. The canyons, the mountains, all of the painting we did on this, wiped away. I have, no other, here's my other maps. I have no backup of it. Even the backup got corrupted, so I have no idea what happened there. So yeah, that was a bit of a blow. I'm a bit reeling from that one. So this week off will be good to allow me to reset and refresh and move on from losing this work. It happens. I'm not happy about it. It's the first time it's ever happened in Incarnate, but I think the mistake was when Incarnate started having issues, I panicked and I was like, oh, save it immediately, right? So it doesn't mess up. I think what happened was that when it messed up, and when I saved it, it overwrote all of my previous progress to the saved corrupted state. So yeah, ouch. Yeah, Fat Frog, I could go and like get a picture of the map from a previous stream and then export that as an image template and then like paint over it and all. So that is a solution for fixing it. We might do that. I don't know. We'll figure out what we're gonna do, but I'm definitely bummed about it, and maybe we just have to get to something a little new for a bit. I don't know, but we're gonna figure it out. And once I come back, we will deal with that question. Until then, I will think about it and move on from it. So really sorry about that, y'all. That's, like I said, I have hundreds of hours in Incarnate. I've never seen that issue happen before. I guess we learn, we live and learn, and move on from it. But oops, stinks. But we'll figure it out. No worries. There's always more maps to make. Jake Hartman on Video App, my friend. Welcome in. I'm so sorry, Jake. You're joining right as we're ending. But as always, you know, the replays of the streams are on Video App, so please go back and watch the last hour and 11 minutes of stream. We've had a good time here today. Done some fun stuff. So I thank you for joining me, and I apologize that you're walking in the door and we're walking out, but always good to see you, my man. I hope you're doing good. For everybody else, and Jake as well, thank you very much for joining me. As always, a special thanks to Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com for the use of his songs Farm, Manor, Cottages, and Northern Glade, which provided our background music today. And an extra special thanks to Raffi the Engineer for our 5th background song, Midnight, at the Round Table, which he composed for stream. Absolutely awesome, Raffi. I really appreciate it. A thank you to everybody in chat for keeping it cool, keeping the vibes right. And a thank you to our excellent moderators for being there when someone doesn't keep the vibe right. It doesn't happen often, but I appreciate y'all when it does. So thank you to Melissa Lee, 28, Raffi the Engineer, One Happy Harpy, the Seth Ward, Other Name Wasn't Available, aka Slindy, Leisha T, and Aaron Winnick. I appreciate y'all. Thank you very much. Lastly, folks, if you've enjoyed this stream, please give me a follow so I can see you on the next one, which, as a reminder, we'll announce it one last time. I will be off Wednesday, Friday, and Monday, so the next stream will be a Wednesday stream, Wednesday the 26th. It's going to be the longest break we've taken since I started streaming, but with the holidays coming up, like I said, I'm going to a wedding, and then we're taking an early Thanksgiving this year, so I'm doing my Thanksgiving this coming week, and then when Thanksgiving comes around, I'll be here, so probably not too many interruptions to the stream then. Dino, welcome in, my man. Jake Hartman, good to see y'all. Like I said, I'm sorry I'm ending as you're joining. But, as always, if you go to the links in my bio, the replay is available on Video App now. So you can go watch the stream we just did. So yeah, thank you for joining, y'all. I hope you had a good time today. I certainly did. Fun chat, fun discussions, read some good opening lines, answered some great questions. So thank you for being here with me today, and I'll catch you on the next one. Until then, folks, have a good time. Be excellent to each other. Peace out.